Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kirti, Kumar, Vishwadeep, Siddhant, Rajan, Deepika, Vandana, Parvez. A very good morning to you, all of you. I had a word with my coordinator regarding the yesterday's issue that you have not received LS1 code and you are receiving the corrupt data set. She said she will be looking into it and she'll revert back to me today only. Okay, hopefully she will get to the base of the problem, what is happening, because she said that she had shared immediately with your upgrade team. So let's see why it has not been shared with you, and she's looking into it. So can we begin with our class now? It's already 10:30 and okay. All right. So yesterday we started with our case study. Good morning, Praneeth. Okay, so yesterday we started off with our case study. So let's go to the code. All of you, please open your code. All right. Code is open. All right. So yesterday what we did was we did some groundwork for our case study. All right. So in case anyone wants to repeat that or anyone has any query before we begin, please post it on the chat. You can even post it on Q&A. Okay. All right. Good morning, Rohit. So let's assume it's good to go as nobody is asking any question. And let me stop the video. Okay. All right. Yesterday we started off with the case study analysis of IPL T20 matches. Just for the, I'm giving a little brief for those who are joining today and did not able to join yesterday. Okay, we are doing a case study on the pandas. We have finished the case study on NumPy. We did some groundwork on pandas, basic, very basic concepts. Rest of the concepts about pandas we will learn as we go through our case study. Okay, I have taken a very common case study, a domain which you are all are aware of, cricket matches. We Indians are born and raised with the cricket matches, so everyone know what a cricket match is. And I think 99% of you are aware of what IPL matches are. Okay, so we are going to analyze our IPL matches. No, Adarsh, I skipped the vectorization part. If you have time in NS4, we can do vectorization then. It's just a concept which I explained to you why your NumPy is faster on list. If you want, I can do it at the end of the class today or maybe in the starting of the class of LS4. I wanted to reach pandas early so that you guys can do your project. We can do vectorization in LS4. All right. Yes, I know you didn't get the others, you didn't get the notebooks. I mailed it immediately, and even my coordinator had mailed it to upgrade team. I have talked to her this morning, and she will be getting down to the bottom of this problem. Hopefully, you will be receiving your all the notebooks. The two I sent it yesterday, and the one I sent it last week by EOD. Okay, she said she will look into the problem and she'll get back to me. Okay. All right. So, okay, vectorization, remind me others in LS4. I'll do it on LS4. I want to do case study today so that you guys can do your projects. Okay. All right. So, we will be analyzing our cricket matches. We will be analyzing on who has scored the highest, who has scored the lowest run, who are the top 10 teams, who are the top 10 scorers, who are the top 10 wicket takers, something like these of when you hear your commentary in your cricket team, when you hear commentary while watching a cricket match, your sports commentator giving you out as if they remember it. It's not that they remember these things. There is a whole team of sports analysts who are analyzing the data, okay, doing data analysis at the back end. and giving them the results. Okay. So these are the few questions. Maybe we will do all the questions. Maybe we'll do some of the questions, or some of the questions you guys can do. It's a very common things which you hear when you hear a sports commentary. Okay. So as for every case study, for every data analysis, we start by loading our libraries. So we did load our libraries, both NumPy and Pandas. We need to load NumPy as Pandas are dependent on NumPy. Okay. All right. So we had two data set, matches.csv and deliveries.csv. I know some of you, all of you guys have received it as XLX. So just rename the file to CSV, comma separated value, or read it as Excel, or open the Excel file and do save as and resave it as CSV file. Okay. So many of you have done it yesterday only. So when I'm in Pandas, PD is my Pandas alias. As for NumPy, I used NP. For Pandas, we use PD. There's a function called as read CSV. A read CSV, read underscore CSV, is a much more powerful function than our two functions which we had in NumPy. The reason being, it loads your data set into a data frame. This is my variable for the data frame. You can just name it as df, or you can name it as data, or whatever you like, just matches. I prefer it to have a name where I know what I'm storing and what type of data is it. That is my way of writing a variable. So you can choose your own way, but this industry standard says that the variable name should be such that any other person who is reading your code should be able to identify what kind of value, what type of value, or what value you have stored in your data frame. Oh, sorry, in your variables. Okay. Now read CSV is powerful than your NumPy functions of reading file, because number one, it loads your file into the data frame. Number two, it understands that the very first row of the data is column labels. With NumPy, we had a problem that we need to slice it off so that from the array, so that we can do our filtering and sorting and summation and all. Some of you faced the problem where total was not sliced off, so we the sum function was throwing error. So that is not the case here. Okay, it identifies that the very first row will be your columns. All right, it handles your nulls value very well. All right, it will identify that it is a null value. Okay, and it accepts it. It will not throw an error like jump from next function. All right, so let's load our matches file. Most of you have done it yesterday only. We are not defining data structure, either series or how Panda. Okay, Kumar Baba is asking, we are not defining the data structure either series or data frame. How Pandas consider it as series or data frame? Kumar Baba, the output of read CSV, if you go through the documentation of read underscore CSV, the output of the read underscore CSV is data frame. Every function which is defined, it defines what type of output it will be give, what kind of result, what type of data type of result it will be giving out. Okay. So for read underscore CSV, it is a data frame. Okay. Rishabh, delimiter is not required. No, Rishabh, delimiter is not required, since I'm saying read CSV. CSV is what? Comma separated values. All right. So if you see, let me write something like this: pd dot read CSV shift tab. Now, if you see shift tab, it has opened the documentation for my read CSV, where I have given the file path, where I have to read from, and there are various other things. There is no delimiter, if you see. Okay. Rest of it is not so important. We won't be using it. It's not used. I have not seen it being used. So delimiter, see, if I'm saying CSV, so it's already assuming that it is a comma separated. It is saying comma is there. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move ahead. So let's try to confirm what I just said. Okay, Saptarishi, it's not reading. Let me take this. So when I execute it, it is telling me it is a data frame. Okay. All right. Let's see. It's not reading for me. Okay. Number one, Saptarishi, confirm that your matches.csv and your Python file are in the same folder of your Jupyter notebook. Are they in the same folder? If they are in the same folder, then it should be able to read it. Second, check, uh, just go to the Windows, right click on matches.csv. I know many of you have received a corrupt data set. Just right click and check. Although it is showing matches.csv, did the Windows added, or while downloading, the Google added .xlx in front of it. If that is so, change the properties of the file and make it just CSV, not XLX. Okay. These might be 2 or 3 reasons. Otherwise, you need to all right, check file path. Of course, Deepika is suggesting you have uploaded on Jupyter. I hope you have uploaded on Jupyter and in the same folder as your code. Done. Okay, so what was the problem, Saptrishi? Yes. Okay, so can you please paste the error? If it is not reading, then it must paste the error. There must be some error it is showing. Okay. PD is not defined. Okay, the PD is not defined because you have not executed import file. Execute this. It is not identifying pandas. You have to write import the libraries and you have to, that is why PD is not defined. Okay. So it's very important. We were, discussing all kinds of error, whereas it was something which I forget most often. So, I explained to you guys and I forgot to execute the code. Don't worry, it's good. Right. Okay. So let's move ahead. So we have loaded our data set into a data frame. We check that yes, the type is data frame. And then I try to print my entire data. See guys, there is something I should caution you about, I should warn you about. Don't try to do this if you know you have a huge amount of data. It will load your Python and your Python will, you would think that your system has got hang. So please don't do this unless you know the data is less. Okay. When you see this, you can see there is a whole lot of data. Since we have only 756 rows, so I printed the data. Yesterday, when we were doing suicide, so it had 2 lakh of data. I dared not print it. Okay. So now let's look at our data. I have a column and a column called as ID with ID. So this ID is representing my match ID. Just like in any class, you have your roll numbers. So here all my matches have their IDs. Next, I have a season which tells me in which year that match was played. Then city where it was played, the date it was played, between which teams. So now after team 1, the data has broken because I have put it on a scroll. So the team 1 and team 2, who won the toss? What was the toss decision? So what after, if I won the toss, whether I decided to field or whether I decided to bat, whether the result was normal or something not normal. So I'm not seeing any other. So we'll check what are the other options for the result. We had discussed it yesterday. DL applied, that is Duckworth-Lewis method applied or not. You guys all know what DL is. In case anybody doesn't know, let me know. Okay. So who was the winner of the match? And if they won by runs, how many runs? And if they won by wicket, how many wicket? And who was the man of the match? What is the stadium where the name of the stadium where the match was played? And who were the umpires? All right. So these are the 18 columns of our matches.csv. So this is, we have done already. Now, either I can go ahead and say type of my data frame, sorry, the type of my variable, which will give me data frame, the number of columns, the date type of the columns, the shape, or I can just execute one function called as info, and it will give me all the information like column names, data type. See, can you please execute this function called as info and see what all kind of outputs you're getting? The info will tell me what type of data, df, my matches df. So it is a data frame. I executed that and I know that. Then it is telling me I have 756 rows and the indexing for the rows has been done by default, and they have been marked as 0 to 755. Okay. Vandana is asking question, when we have a huge data set, trillions of record, how does Panda reads? Does it suppose lazy loading or lazy evaluation? Uh, Vandana, it supports lazy loading. Okay. If you have trillions of data, then you don't read the entire data in single data set. You try to, they try to load in parts in a different data set in a distributed form. So when you go ahead and do an advanced course on the data science, you can, there you can see how it is done. Since it's a basic course, we are sticking up to a million records only. Okay. Deepika, ma'am, my data is here and there. How is your aligned? Deepika, the output of the info is already aligned. If it is not, so what you can try is go to cell, all output, say toggle scrolling. So you should have scroll like this. See, mine was going here and there. Here it was fine. Okay. So I am using a function called as info. Info gives me all the details which I need to know about my data. So please go ahead and execute info. So this is the first step while trying to understand the data after loading. Execute info and you get everything. Okay. It's telling me I have 18 columns. Okay. Now, since the columns have their own names, so it is telling me that at 0th position, the column is ID. It has 756 entries. It is a non-null type and the data type is integers. So it is integer 64. Now, for yesterday, as I told you, in pandas, if the data is string or the data is mixed means it can be integers and float, integer, float, and string, it will consider it as an object. So mostly you will see as int or as an object. Now ID has 750, so there are 756 rows. So ID is 756, season is 756, city has 749. So what does it tell you about the city? Can someone guess? Kumar, what are you trying to say? Repested? Yes. Adarsh, I'm not getting column and row header. Just a second. Kirti is saying null values, right, Kirti? So there might be 7 such data where the names of city has not been entered. So there will be null values there, right? Rohit is also right. Kumar, but repeated. No, repeat. No, it's not repeated. It is null value. Yes, Vishwadeep. While cleaning and our data, if we are doing it start today or tomorrow in the next class, then we will see how to handle the null values. Okay. Adarsh, I'm not getting column and row header. Adarsh, did you execute it? Okay. Did you load your data set and executed info? Common names. Swaminath, I didn't get your answers. What does ma'am, why your index and column, why you are getting index and column header and we are just having data below it? Okay. Can I see all data is good without header? Which header you're not getting? Can you just paste a part of your output so that I can understand? Just Abhinav, and all data is good without header. Okay, you are not getting this. It might be your version of your pandas might be different from mine, so you might be getting a little bit a different output. So it won't matter anything, but it will be same. Yes, the version of the panda might be giving a different kind of output. All right. Okay. So these are your columns. So if you see the city has some null values, can you identify any other columns which have null values? Yes. Some of the cases winners are missing. Yes. Umpire 3 has lot less values, just 119 values. And even the players of the matches are also missing. Right. Good. Good catch. Good one, Vishwadeep, Deepika, Kumar, Rohit, Abhinav, Vishwadeep. Good. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's move ahead. Now, as I told you, we might have, here I had just 700 lines of data, 750 plus. So I printed the entire data, just like Abhivandana said, if we had trillions of data or million of data or even lakhs of data, I can't print it everything on my screen. So what I'll do is I'll use two functions. One is head and another is tail. Okay. The head functions prints the first n of my data. So if I don't give anything, by default, it will print the first 5 data. And if I give, say, 4, it will just print the first 4 data. Similarly, your tail will give me the last rows of the data. So if I don't give any value, by default, it will give me the last 5 rows. And if I give last, say, 6, so it will give me the last 6 rows. So can you please execute header and tail? And just and head and tail are, there are multiple reasons. So if you want, so if you have sorted your data, okay, you have sorted your data in ascending or descending order for your top 10 scorers or the least 10 scorers, and then you can use head 10 to get those only those 10 values. Okay, so you can please otherwise if your data is not sorted, so whatever the format you have received, whatever the order you have received in your CS3 file, it'll just pick the first 5 in case of head and last 5 in case of tail. Just go ahead and execute it. All right, good. Kumar has done. So you are getting a head or, all right. So let's go ahead. Most of you have done. So this is, I'm getting a head or a tail of the data. So we are just currently trying to know what we have in our data. Now, can you tell me the shape of the data? Can you execute shape? I have executed shape in some other format so that, in a very nice way, I can represent my output, that I have the total number of rows at 756 and the total number of columns as 18. Although I've executed shape, instead of in a single tuple, I'm taking rows and values into different variables and then printing those variables. So everyone can do a shape. Yes. So you guys got a tuple, and I split the tuple into two variables and printed it nicely. See, presentation is very important in terms of a business. Okay. So let's go ahead. Now, if I want just the column names, although info has given me everything, I should not be doing, separately, but okay. Rajan, what you are getting an error? Shape ki spelling SHAPE. You missed A either in the chat or somewhere else. Otherwise, please. Okay. See, shape is an attribute, not a function. So you don't put parentheses like this. Okay, shape is an attribute. So don't put parentheses. Okay. Shape is an attribute and not a function. Columns is an attribute, not a functions. So we don't put parentheses like we call a function to it. Okay. Rajan, your problem is solved. Let me know. Otherwise, Rajan, you started with print and you did not close the print bracket after the shape. If this is the correct command you have written, A comma B, don't use print directly. See, print is itself an executable command. So remove print and just write the name of your dataset dot shape, and then you use the print. Okay, or otherwise execute in a simple format. Percentage S, your printing formatting of your Python, simple that you will get in the string format. Percentage S, printing in the string format. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so I'm getting my columns name out here. Simple. All right, all of you please print the summary statistics. Yesterday we discussed summary statistics. So please print the summary statistic of your data while using a describe function. Right? I yesterday discussed with pandas the summary statistics. So describe function will tell me the count, the total number of data, the mean of the data, the standard deviation of the data, the minimum value, the maximum value at 25 percentile, 50 percentile, and 75 percentile. Right. Okay. Done? All right. Now, if you see the summary statistic, does the summary statistics for ID, season, and DL apply? Does make any sense? See, ID is a continuous value of which is a match. So we are not doing any kind of, you cannot do any kind of a mean of an ID or a mean of a year or a mean of a DL apply. Doesn't make any sense, right? It does not make any sense. So the only columns, see, I describe, number one thing you need to notice is I use describe function on my entire data set. So whatever the data it has identified as int in my info, it has given me the values, the summary statistics only for those columns. That is the first thing you should notice. Yes. So the first thing it is you should notice is it does not do it for object. It does only for the numerical values, whether they are int or whether they are float. Number one thing, right? So although I have given it for the entire data, it is done only for the numerical values. Okay. The second thing you need to notice is now it might be possible I have 18 columns here and only 5 numerical columns. It might be possible you might have 100 columns and there might be 40 to 50 columns which are numerical, so you will get describe. So in case you want to have a describe function for a specific columns, what you have to do is you provide the list of column as a list inside your indexing bracket. Okay, so I write the data frame name. Okay, I write my data frame name. I give my indexing brackets. This is my indexing brackets. Okay, so this is my indexing bracket, and inside the indexing bracket I give the list of columns. Okay, so the list of columns is comma separated, so I write both the columns, and for a I will have summary statistics only for those columns which make sense. Okay, so if you have to do it for a specified column, you can do this. So like if you have about 200 to 250 columns in your real-time data and you have 40 to 50 numerical columns, so you can specify for which column you need your summary stats. So looking at it, you have all the 756 rows filled up, so there are no nulls here. Any mean is 13.28. Can someone tell me what does a mean of 13 and a win by wicket by 3 means? What conclusion would you draw from it? See, analysis is not just executing Python code. Once you get a result from your Python code, you need to analyze. Yes. So the matches in T20 has been closed. Praneeth, I did not get. Yes, Kumar, Rohit is right. Kumar and Rohit are right. On an average, a team, if it has won by batting first, it has won by 13 runs. And on an average, if the team won by batting second, they have won by around 3 wickets. Okay. So we understand now that interpreting any value, any result that is coming out of after executing your Python code does require a little bit of your domain knowledge. So if you're doing a financial one or marketing one or HR one, so a domain knowledge on that area would be good to go. All right. So minimum win by runs is 0, minimum win by wickets is 0. We'll discuss it later. And maximum is 146 and maximum is 10. All right. So currently I'm ignoring 25, 50 and 75 percentile. It doesn't bother me. I'm more worried about minimum and maximum. So let's go ahead. Now let's, okay. Rajan, what error you are getting? Do not execute the both side by side. Comment one and then execute one by one. And let me know the error. See, I executed one, then commented, and then executed the second. Although it should not be a problem if you do it on a different cell. Can you just paste the error you are getting? Okay. Meanwhile, let's go ahead. Rajan will paste the error. Okay. Rajan, execute the commands one by one. Execute first the first print command and let me know whether you are getting an output, and comment on the second one. All right. Meanwhile, Rajan is doing that. Let's go ahead. Now trying to access column data. Now it is same as you are doing for your 2D matrix or 2D array or a matrix. You just, if you want to access just one column, okay, just the name of your data frame and the column you want to access, and you will get this output. Now there is one thing you need to remember is a single column in a data frame is a series. Okay, a single column in a data frame is a series itself. So if you want to execute any of the series function on a single data frame column, you can do that. So your pandas treat each column of your data frame as an independent series. Okay, you will see the difference when you're doing your project or doing this case study. What an output can make a difference. Getting a single column output, that is the only way you will see the difference, otherwise you won't. Okay, so in case you have a multiple columns, you give it as a list as before, and the output here would be a data frame. Can you see the difference between the output when I gave a single column and when I gave a more than one column? Anyone? No, other row is not a series, only the columns. Other is asking, even the row is a series? No, row is not a series, only the columns. Only the columns are treated as series because they have a column header and we can independently talk about it. All right. Okay. Yeah. Single series, multiple, yes. Rohit is right. If you have a single column, it will be treated as series. The output would be series. And if it is a multiple column, the output would be treated as data frame. So can someone suggest me, in case I want this output in the form of a data frame, what should I do? In case I want this output as a data frame, what should I do? Here I'm getting output as series. Here I'm getting, just execute it once. No, Rohit, I'll just do this and let it think that I have given it as a list. So Rohit suggested that give a dummy column. I don't need to give a dummy column. I just add a bracket and let Panda think that I have given a list. And when I execute it, it will give me the output in the form of a data frame. So just remember, inside indexing, if you give in form of a list, you will get output as a data frame. And if you just give a single name, okay, you will get an output as a series. Can you please execute the two, and in case an issue, let me know. Headers and index, add no, okay, with double brackets. Yes, Hitesh is right, double brackets, one for indexing and one for list. Use data frame. Yes, we can use that. pd.data frame. It will convert it to the data frame. Kumar and Deepika has the same answer. Okay, Rohit. Okay, Kumar. Good. All right. So let's go ahead. You have executed, I hope, both of these. Now we'll talk about two methods which are commonly used, LOC and ILOC method. Okay. ILOC is an indexing based selection method. So I need to select certain rows. Okay. Here I have selected columns, right? Here I've selected columns. Now what if I want to select certain rows? Okay, I have a specific row. Say I want to select the first 3 rows here. Okay, first 4 rows, sorry. So fourth row is your fifth row is having index 4, so that won't be included. And first 3 columns. Okay, so first 3 columns and first 3 rows. So I'll use ILOC, iloc method, and in the square brackets I'll give my start and stop row and start and stop column. So I told you it is always R comma C. So first the rows will be given and second the columns will be given. And if I don't specify the columns here, it will give me all the columns. Okay. And here I can specify the rows which I want using the index number. So ILOC works on I refers to index. So ILOC works. So this is an easy way to remember. If it is ILOC, it works only on indexes. Okay, it works only on indexes. So here I'm giving my column indexes and row indexes. So you can execute it and check. Just a way of accessing your data, not much use. So if you want to see somewhere in between row 10 to 15 or 30 to 35, somewhere in between. So your head and tail gives you the initial rows or the last row, and you want to check out somewhere in between. Say I want to see the rows from 100 to 110. So you can use the ILOC method. Yes, it will give 4 rows. The last stop is not included, just like in your slice, Kumar. Kumar is saying it is only giving 4 rows. So I have mentioned 0 to 4. So 0th row, first row, second row, and third row. 4 will not be included. Just like in your slice, the stop value is not included. Oh, sorry. So I must have changed it. It initially should have been like this. So that is why it is, the comment was not changed while discussing with, just like I changed the data while discussing with you guys. So probably with the last batch, I might have changed the data. So it's actually the initial might be something like this. All right. Now let's talk about LOC. Now LOC is label based. Okay. So usually it works with your rows and column labels. And you know that since rows don't always have your labels, so in case of rows, when there are no labels, it will work with index. But a better use of LOC is when I use it for Boolean conditions when I'm selecting my data. Okay. So LOC is again used for selection of data, but it is based on labels. And in case row labels are not present, usually column headers or column labels are present. In case of rows, it can also work with your indexes. Okay. So simple here, I'm selecting my first 5 rows, 6. Okay, 6 rows here. Can you tell me what is the difference between LOC 05 and ILOC 05? Kumar, can you tell me? Yes, Vishwadeep is right. In case of LOC, the stop value is included. Okay. In case of LOC, this is an exception, guys. LOC may the stop value is included, whereas in your ILOC or in your slide, the stop value is not included. So here I have given my column headers, and here I have just given my all the rows which I want. Okay. So in case I want rows from 100 to 105. So I'm getting all my 6 rows out here. So I can just pick any part of my data with it. Okay. ILOC, LOC is clear. Now I said we can use it for the Boolean conditions. I'll just show you in my, I'll hold this for a minute, because when I'll be doing the questions, I'll show you how LOC is being used for your Boolean condition. Okay, I have saved that one for the case. So let's proceed. Now remember, yesterday when we were doing suicide case, we were filtering the data for Maharashtra, then we were filtering the data for 2012, then we were filtering the data for females. So, you know, you had huge conditions for loop. You were iterating to the for loop, then you were matching each data state. So, you're writing huge lines of code, right? That is not the case when you're working with your data frame. Okay. So we'll talk about filtering of the data frame. And alongside filtering and sorting and summarization and grouping, we will be solving our questions. So my first question in our analysis was, what is the highest and lowest winning margin for a team? So we executed describe so everyone can answer it, right? So can you please answer which was what are the highest and the lowest? Answer the first question. What is the highest and the lowest winning margin for a team based on runs? Let me complete. Okay. Rohit is saying highest 146, lowest 1. I'm getting minimum here as 0, Rohit. 0 and Rajan, 0 and 35. Rohit is saying minimum is 0 for win by wickets. I'm saying win, just concentrate win by runs right now. We'll talk about win by wickets later. Just concentrate on win by runs. Tell me what is the highest and the lowest value. Deepika is saying 0 and 46. Kumar Baba is 0 is 0, 46, 0, 46. Okay. So, yes, Hitesh is right. And the person who Rohit was right. You have watched cricket match. I think everybody must have watched at least one cricket match in their lifetime. Can you win a cricket match by 0 runs? Can you win a cricket match by 0 runs? No, you cannot run. So somebody saying super over. Yes, super over. That means you will have some runs in win by runs, right? Otherwise, if it is a 0 wickets and 0 runs, the match is draw, right? So it is not a win. It is not counted as a win. It is counted as a draw, right? So to get this answer, my describe is not enough. My describe is giving me the maximum value, but my describe is not giving me the correct minimum value. Or the minimum value technically is 0, but it should not be the lowest winning margin. So what I do is I use another function that is called as value counts. Now value counts, what it does, it identifies all the unique values of your data and count them, not add them. Remember, it is not summing them, it is counting those values and arrange them in the sorted order. Okay, so the value counts is another function which you can use often. You will be using very often in your project, in your analysis. What it does is it finds all the unique values. You can find unique values using which function? Unique function, right? We have used yesterday quite often. Okay, so internally it uses a unique function. Remember we did to find the unique function for all the state in the unique that we wrote a command for Maharashtra for the state and gender. Okay, and then we added it. So we don't need sum here, we just need the count. So it will tell me how many times 0 are there, how many times 14 is there, how many times 11 is there, or 10 is there, or 4 is there, and how many times 146 is there. Okay. So it has sorted on the count. Okay. So we can see that 1 is there. So in case no match has been won by 1 run and the count here it has been 0. Okay, so 1 would have not occurred it. Then probably would have gone and checked for 2. Okay. So since 1 is there, I can say my highest winning margin was 146 and lowest winning margin was 1. It might be a possible scenario that no team has won by 1 run. So then in that case, this 1 value would not have existed. And then we would have gone and checked for value 2. Okay. So then we might have done more analysis, but we don't need to go further. And we have 1. It is sorted on the count. It is not sorted on the value. It is sorted on the count. By default, value count is sorted on the value. We cannot sort it on this. It is sorted on this count and not the data value. Okay. Rohit is asking that can we sort? Okay. Now let's move ahead. Now let's do an exercise for value counts. Can you tell me the total number of matches that was played in each year? Can you find the total number of matches that was played in each year using value counts? Just give it a little thought. Go through it, the columns you have, and think about it. And write on the chat your thought process. How do you think you can get that? Okay, Rohit is saying matches, season, value counts. Correct. See, in season we have year. So each and every match would have an entry there with ID. All right. So if we count how many times that particular year has been entered, okay, so you will get a output. Okay, so this is how my data frame, season, and value count. In case anybody did not understand this, please can raise it on the chat. I will explain it again. Pranay is asking how to arrange the output in the order for the year wise. Pranay, you cannot, because by default value count is sorted and it is sorted on the decreasing order of your see. So let's try. What Pranay is asking for. See, Pranay, if I put the sort as fault, so it will by default taking year on the year. It is sorting on the year. It is usually the way your data has been put in your data. So here my data is probably sorted on the year. So it is taking that form. Deepika, ascending true we cannot use here because by default, see, let me open the documentation. The documentation doesn't offer me ascending attribute. There is no sort command. Yes, sort values is different. Sort value is different. We'll come to sort value, Hitesh, that works on your data frame. Okay. We'll come to sort values in a meanwhile. This is a different kind of output. This is output of a function value counts. Okay. So I'm just, if I'm saying sort to be false, so whatever the form that, see here you can see the it is sorted on year, but it might not be the case if the data is not sorted on the year in your original data. Okay, it won't work with ascending because ascending is not an attribute in value counts. Okay, Vishwadeep is asking not working with ascending. It won't work because I just show you in the documentation. There is no ascending out here. There are two, normalize and sort. So I put sort as fault. So you got the result what you wanted, but it might not be the case every time. Okay. Hitesh, no, sort values won't work here. Sort values work. See, okay. Rohit is saying sort 2 doesn't give the opposite result, then the sort falls in this case. See, by default, sort is true for the value count, Rohit. By default, sort is true for the value count. So if I execute sort count like this, I'm getting a sorted value. So sort 2 or not giving the sort attribute is one and the same thing. Okay. In case I don't want my result, see in this case, these are the indexes and this is my result output. Okay. Yes, you can do sort index if you try that. Let's try what Parvez is. Okay. All right, thanks Parvez. This is working because here my years are being treated, my season is being treated as index. This is a series, index and data. Okay, let's go ahead. All right. Now the second question is, which team has won a match by 100 or more runs? Okay. So remember yesterday we did some conditions for Maharashtra. Okay. So now similarly for a numerical value, it is saying find out the names of the team which have won the match by 100 or more runs. So we have a column name as win by runs, right? So the value of win by runs should be greater than equal to 100. Okay, so I have my data set or my data frame. I have my column and I'm saying greater than equal to 100. So when I execute this, can you tell me what output I'm getting? Yes, Abhinav. We'll come to this. Boolean. It is just checking condition for each and every row and telling whether the value is true or false. Okay. So what I need to do is after getting, building up this condition, I can put it in my data frame in indexing and I'll get an output. So these are the matches where the team has won by more than 100 runs, 100 or more than 100. Okay, since it says 100 or more than 100, so we will have the equality condition out here. So please execute. And those who are able to execute it, please go ahead and do the question number 3. Find the teams which have won the match by 10 wickets, and those who have any queries, please post it on the chat. I'll explain this one later. LOC. Yes, Vishwadeep, that is what I'm saying. LOC, you can use either of the commands. The first one without LOC and the second one with LOC. I really find LOC to be, of no use out here, because I can see here I told you LOC can be used for conditions, for filtering your data. So here I have a condition and I used LOC. So I'll get the same output as my first. So adding, executing an LOC won't actually make any difference. I'm getting the same output. So I really find LOC to be redundant, but yes, if it is there, you can use it. And if you don't use it, you will get the same result. Okay. So this is win by 100. I have about how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 teams who have won by 100 or more runs. See, 118, 102, 44, 38, 30, and this. Yeah, data is not sorted. Okay, right. Pooja Bolian, right? You were right, Pooja. Vishwadeep, you have put the yes, Vishwadeep, we can be answered. Yes, Rohit has put win by runs unique. Why you want it unique? Each match is unique here, Rohit. There is no repeated data. So unique won't help you out. Okay. So here you are getting just the name of the teams. Okay, Vishwadeep is saying 11 and Deepika is saying 11 teams have won by 10 or more. Rohit, can you please clarify either you are asking a query or you have what you have posted? Okay. If a team is have won more than once, Rohit, then it is a different match. If Mumbai Indians have played, Mumbai Indians and which one is the Bangalore team? Royal Challengers Bangalore, right? They might have played in every season, right? In every season, they might have played in semi-finals and in your team matches also. So there might be teams which have, won more than once. Of course, then they have won more matches. Agar Royal Challengers Bangalore have won more than once, so it will be counted as two different wins, not a single win, right? It would. So here currently, no data of a single match has been duplicated. Okay, so this is an assumption कि अगर कोई एक match एक particular date पे between two teams हुआ है, तो there is a single entry for it. There is not a double entry for a same match. Okay, if two teams have played more than once to each other in single season, then probably one is your semi-final match or a final match, and another is your what is played in the groups, whatever that match is called. Okay, so yes, team can win more than once, of course. Royal Challengers and Bangaloreans, every team has won more than matches. India has won so more than one matches. Okay, so it will be counted as a different win, it will be counted as a different match. Yes, 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 you can see. See, I want all the teams which have won all the matches. Okay, so there might be Rajasthan had Royals have things, Challengers have won more than once. These are all different wins for them. These are all different wins for them. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. So most of you have done the first and second and the third question. I got your confusion, Rohit. Rohit is trying to find out only the names of the winners. Okay, so if Royal Challengers have won more than once, so only the name would occur once. That is also good. That is also good. Here, I can say a more appropriate question instead of all the matches would have been more better. All the matches where the teams have won by more than 100 runs would have been a more appropriate question. Okay. Yes, I got it now. All right, let's go ahead and done question number 2 and 3. Any doubts for question 2 and 3? Let me know. Yes, Rishabh, there is a syntax. There is a function called as count. Rishabh is asking, is there any syntax to count as well? Yes, there is. It is called as count function. We will be using in our analysis, maybe today or in the next class. There is a couple of places I have used count. So I'll explain you as we go along. All right. Question number 2 and 3, any doubt? So can we move to question number 4 now? All right. Before we move to question number 4, is it possible that there is a team which has won by both by more than 100 runs and by 10 wickets? Is it possible in the cricket scenario? No. Thanks, Hitesh. And Can you tell me why? Yes, in the same match. I mean, in the same match, can I win by runs and can I win by wickets too? Can a team win by run as well as by wickets? No, either. Yes, yes. So this is something as important because you know cricket, you can answer this question well. Because you know either they will win by wickets or they will win by runs. It will be either or. It cannot be both. Good. So, so when I executed my condition out here, where the team has won both using an AND condition, I'm getting an empty data frame saying there is no such team which has won by both by runs and both by wickets. And by virtue of your knowledge of cricket, you know this is not possible. Okay. Now let's go move on to the question number 5. How many matches the result was not normal? In how many matches the result was not normal? So when we saw data above, we usually saw normal, normal, normal. Okay. Everywhere the result was normal. So let's try to find out whether there was some abnormal result or not. So what I'll do is I'll execute data frame, result, my column name, and the unique function to find out what all values I have for my result. I have normal, I have tie, and I have no result. So in some cases, the matches might be draw, so it is written as tie. And in some cases, they were neither able to draw the match nor they were able to apply the Duckworth-Lewis. So that is the case. We have no result. Okay. So I executed value counts on my result, and I find that there were 700 out of 756 matches that were played in IPL so far. 743 has some result, 9 were tied, and 4 resulted in no result. Okay. So this is how you are going to interpret your data. Once you have executed your code, you can interpret out of 746 matches, 743 had normal result, 9 had no result, 9 was tied or drawn, and 4 there was no result. So it might be they have cancelled or something. You did not have any such result. So for whatever reasons, they might have been cancelled. Okay, good to go. Let's move ahead. In how many matches Duckworth-Lewis rule was applied? Can you guys go ahead and do this question yourself and let me know the number of matches where DL was applied? Okay, wait, I'm waiting, Rajan. Please, please. You want me to wait for 1 minute? Yes, please. If you think I'm fast, just pause me. No problem. There are 33, 34 of you guys. I'm seeing participants, so including me, execute. I would like to see answers from everybody, please. Okay. All right. The same way, like we found out the normal results, abnormal results, same way we will do it for Duckworth-Lewis. For Duckworth-Lewis, we are saying there are only 2 Boolean values, 0 and 1. 1 means the Duckworth was applied. So there were 19 such matches where DL was applied to get the result. Okay. So there were 19 such matches where DL was applied. Okay, good. All right. So next see, we have filtered the data. Usually we have to filter the data. We use certain conditions. Now what we have to sort the data. Probably you might have gone through your projects and you might have said there will be top 10 apps required somewhere, or top 5 apps in terms of revenue, or top favorite apps, or something like that. Something like that kind of questions are always there. Okay, so what you need to do is you want to find out the top 10 wins by run in IPL history. अभी इससे पहले हम what we did was we find out how many teams have won by more than 100 runs. So we got some 9 rows of data. Okay. Now I want to find top 10 win by runs in IPL history. Or I can reframe that question as which are the top 10 teams which has won by the highest margins in terms of runs. So what I'll do is, remember sorting was so difficult, sorting of data was so difficult in NumPy. It is not in the case of your data frames. Okay, in case of pandas, you have your data frame. There are two sorting functions. Okay, let me just talk about sorting functions here a little while. There are two sorting functions in your pandas: sort by values and sort by index. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Now, if you see, when you define sort by values, by default, it is taking x is equal to 0. Okay. And here you define in by the number, the name of the column, okay, on which you want to sort your data. Okay. So you will define the name of the column on which you want to sort your data. Okay. So, and sort by index. Now I have the whole one. Sort by values, you have by, where you define the column. Ascending equal to true means the lowest value will come first and the highest will come later. And if I want highest to be first, so I'll put ascending to be false. In place, false. Can someone tell me what is in place false? What is in place false? Just let's discuss a couple of things before moving forward. Praneeth? Okay. Yes. In place false means in place true means that it will replace your actual data set. So if you put in place true, so whatever you have executed on, whatever data frame you have executed on, the changes will be done there. But in case you put in place equal to false, either it will be doing in the running condition in case you have not done some kind of assignment, or if you have done some kind of an assignment, it will be given to your new data frame. This is what I mean. So if I say new data frame and I say in place equal to false. Okay. If I say in place equal to false, so false won't be in quotes, in place equal to false, my original data frame will remain intact and the output will go into my new data frame. Okay. So this is the meaning of in place. And if I put in place equal to true, in that case, both my input data frame and my output data frame will change. So in this case, even if I don't give this, my input data frame will get changed. All right. All right. So this is more or less I want to discuss in sort values. So let's see sort index. Shift tab. All right. In sort index, you define access to be 0. All right. So it is based on indexing. All right. It is based on indexing, and that is based on your values. All right. The sort values you will have based on your index rows. All right. So let's try to use them and see the difference. Again, it will have same thing, ascending true or false in place, and same kind of an attribute. So let's go ahead and do these questions first, and you will get a better idea of the output. Now I want top 10 wins runs in IPL history, or top 10. So what I'll do is I'll sort by win by runs. So when I sort by win by runs, my lowest will come first. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll give ascending to be false. And since I want top 10, I'll put a head. You can put head 10, or you can put iloc 1 to 10. You can use either of it. You see, I can use this, or I can use this. I want first 10 rows after sorting. So I'll say iloc 1 to 10. Both of them works. Both of them are fine. Both of them will give the same result. Okay. You can use any of it. Okay. So this will give you the Vishwadeep is asking, ma'am, in what condition I will use Loc and Iloc? I just showed you how to use iloc, right? Iloc is not for Boolean condition. Number one thing, Vishwadeep. Only loc is for the Boolean condition. Iloc is just for extracting your data based on your row index. Okay. Here I've sorted my data. And I've extracted my data first 10 rows. iloc only uses, I'll execute this so that you will also know the output is same. See, the output is same as before. Just a second. Oh, sorry, wrong brackets. See, output is same as before. So you can use either of these to get top 10 values. Either use head 10, or you can use iloc 1 to 10. All right. In case I wanted 11 to 20 wins, so I'll say 11 to 20 wins. I don't want top 10. I want second top 10. Okay. So in that case, your iloc will work, your head won't work. All right. So this is just a little deviation from what we are doing. I'll just change it otherwise. But now regarding the loc, I have shown you in the previous case when we were filtering the data. Basically for me, I think the loc is redundant. I showed you here. Yes. You can use loc or without loc also. Okay, Rohit is asking a very genuine question. Ma'am, there are 11 wins with the 10 wickets. Which ones should be considered as top 10? See, Rohit, it depends usually the way your data was placed in your data frame. So by default, top pandas will select the first 10 values and first 10 top 10 in case same values. So right now, I'm not considering any other variable because I don't know that there are more than 10 wins where teams have won by more than 10 wickets. But yes, if you want to add another variable, you can do that. If you want to sort your data on two variables, see here. In case I want to sort my data, the entire data, on two columns with different sorting order. So see here, I have my entire data frame. Okay, I'm sorting my entire data first on season and then by win by runs. Season I want, that means years I want in increasing order, and wins I want in decreasing order. So I can do this. And then probably once you get this data set, you can, get top 10 values. So you can do that. Good, understood. Thank you, Rohit. So in case this is something, in case you want to sort your data on different columns with different sorting order specified. Okay, season you can see here it is in increasing order 2008, 90, and wins are on the decreasing order, win by runs. These are on the decreasing order. Ascending false is decreasing order. Ascending true is increasing order. Ascending descending, something you might have done in your school, right? Okay, so question 8, I think you guys can do it. Can I skip it? I think you guys are now very much capable of doing it. Which are the top 10 wins in IPL history? I'll give you a minute and do it. You can do it in a minute or so. Let's move ahead. All right. Next, we come to another important concept which you will be using a lot in your project is grouping and summarizing of the data. Okay. Grouping and summarizing of the data. Can someone tell me what does a grouping of data means? If you have some kind of idea or you might be dealing with data or database before, what is some sort of pivot? That is Vishwadeep is saying. Yes, some sort. Yes, it is just some sort of pivot. Okay, but not exactly that. Anyone more? Anyone? Yes. Abhinav is right. Aggregation based on certain values of column. Aggregation of the data based on a specific column. All right. And summarizing it, you are putting once you have collected your data based on a particular column. Say मैंने season 2008 का data एक साथ consider करना है, 2009 का data एक साथ consider करना है, 2019 का data एक साथ consider करना है, or maybe I want to consider all the matches of Royal Challengers of Bangalore and I want to consider all the matches for Mumbai Indians and Rajasthan Royals. Okay, so here I'm grouping my data based on teams. There I'm grouping the data based on my year, or I want to group my data on based on venues. All the matches that were played in Mumbai I'll consider as one group. All the matches that were played in Delhi I considered as one group. All the matches I played in Bangalore I considered as another group. So basically segmenting or bucketing your data based on your particular column. So that is your grouping. I hope everyone got what is grouping means. Now, once you have grouped your data, once you have bucketed your data, or once you have, segregated your data, after that, you want to do some kind of aggregation function or some kind of, you want to apply certain type of function. Say, what are the total wins by Rajasthan? You can tell how many matches were won by each team in the entire IPL history. Rajasthan Royals ने कितने matches जीते, Mumbai Indians ने कितने matches जीते, something like that. How many matches were won by Rajasthan Royals? So you will group by the teams and you will sum on their wins. Okay, in how many cases they have won the match. Or if I want to say in how many matches in Jaipur based on their venue, the matches were drawn or matches resulted in a tie or matches, there were no result. Okay, so I'm grouping the data and then checking out on some functions. All right. So to understand grouping and summarizing, I want all of you guys, this is an exercise for you. You will do it right now. Load your deliveries data set. First thing you have to do is, this is something I want you to do yourself. So I understand you are confident of loading the, I want you guys to do this. Load your delivery data set. Load the deliveries data set. Tell me the number of rows in it. Number of columns in it. Tell me whatever, some kind of what the data is all about. Just go through the info, go through the summary statistics, go through the shape, go through this, and see if you can understand what deliveries data set is all about. I'll give you 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes you can take, and see if I give you some raw data, can you understand what that data is all about? We have done this for suicides, we have done this for matches. So let me see if you can do it for deliveries. You have given me the shapes. Okay, just I'm giving you 2 minutes. You can go ahead. I'm getting some answers. I'm expecting some more answers on the chat box. All those who were able to load the data set, execute info and see what more information you can gather. Just check on the null values, is how many of which all columns have null values. Asha, you are asking int 64 is 14, sorry 13. I don't understand. What is your question? Can you please elaborate on it? Int 64 refers to as integers. 64 bits integer. That is the data size. And yes, prayers dismissed. All right. So I guess most of you must have loaded your data and gone through. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead. Okay. So I'm loaded my deliveries data set. Okay. And I executed its info. Now it is a data frame. I know that because I used read CSV of pandas. It has 17 lakh 9,778 rows. So that means, and it has 21 columns, right? Except for last 3 columns, prayers dismissed, dismissal kind and fielders. All other columns have no null values. Okay, we have certain 64 integer values and certain objects. Okay, all right. Rajan, which code do you want to see? You asked me to go a little up. It is, yes, it is Vishwa, more or less clean data, except for the last 3 columns. 74. Okay. This is to read the data. This is to read the data. Okay. All right. So as Rohit was pointing out and some of you others were pointing out, this data is about each and every ball that was bowled in all the IPL matches that played between 2008 till 2019. Okay, for all the data, all the match, all the balls, एक एक बॉल का डिटेल है जो एक एक मैच में डाली गई है. All right. So what information we have? The match ID. This match ID is same as the match ID you have in your matches database. Okay, this is the first thing you can notice or you can note down because this is something very important we'll be working on. Match ID is same whether if it is for referring to the same match. Second, inning could be the first inning or the second inning, whether you played first, which was the batting team and which was, so if the inning is one, so the batting team is the one which batted the first, bowling team which bowled the first, inning is two, the batted team would exchange. In which over, so first over, second over, third over, ball, how many balls in each over? 6, right? Remember? So whether first over ki first ball hai, first over ki second ball hai, first over third ball hai, so and so forth, you will get the exact which ball was bowled in which over. Who was the batsman? Who was at non-striker end? Everybody, I hope understand what is non-striker end. जो other side एक जो खेल रहा है और एक जो दूसरी side होता है जो भागेगा. And the bowler, who bowled it, is it a super over? Yes, somebody mentioned super over in the chat. So super over is in case it runs into tie, another 6 balls are bowled by each team, and whoever scores more in the super over is declared the winner. Okay. Whether it is a wide ball, whether it is a by run. So sometimes what happens is you get a lot of extra runs. The ball is bowled wide, or it is a leg by, or it is a no ball, or it is a by run. So these are all the extra runs. If any kind of an extra runs were scored on that particular ball, that was noted. Any kind of penalty runs that was provided, that was noted. And the number of runs scored by the batsman for that particular ball. So उसने चौका मारा, so it will be 4 runs. If it छक्का मारा 6 run, and if it has taken just ran once, so it will be run 1. Okay. So here you have all the extra runs. So total of extra runs and the total runs. So total runs would be batsman's runs plus extra runs. Okay. So the total runs scored on that particular ball. Whether the player was dismissed, that means whether he got out on that ball or not, and how he was dismissed. So whether he was bowled out or whether he was caught out, and if or run out. So if there is an involvement of a fielder in his dismissal, the name of that fielder is noted. Okay. So that is why the last 3 columns have less data than your other columns, because this data was entered only in the case when the players was dismissed, and the fielder has lesser values only in case of a catch out or in case of a run out. The name of the fielder is noted. So I hope you have understood your data. Okay, so let's move ahead. Just execute your head and tails and see the kind of data you have. Yes, both IDs are same. Kumar Baba is asking, is both IDs are same? Yes, Kumar Baba. The match ID here in deliveries and the match ID in your matches, an ID in your matches. CSV refers to the same. So if I have 543 match ID here and 543 match ID here, they are referring to the same match. Okay, that is the point to be noted out here. So if I want to, just an offbeat question, what is the total number of runs scored till date in the entire IPL history? So just I'll have a column of total runs and execute an aggregation function of sum to find out the value. Is it good? So far 23 lakh runs have been 23 lakh 5,290 runs have been scored in IPL matches. Okay. So this value, actually this question doesn't make any sense because it doesn't give me any kind of data. So how many total runs? Next question is, how many total runs are scored by IPL matches by each team, and who are the top 5 scorers? Okay. So here we are going to, it is asking is, in how many runs have been scored by each team. So we have to consider the column total runs. How many means I'm going to do kind of a summation here. By each team, usually the word by indicates on which column I have to group it. Okay. So now, okay, I will not confuse with my first statement. So what I'll do is, I'll first execute it and then I'll come to the discussion I want to discuss here regarding the output of the data. So let's first try to execute this. Okay. So I have my IPL deliveries. This is my data set. Okay. Now I want to know how many runs scored by each team. So here I'm going to concentrate on the batting team, not on the bowling team. Okay. The runs will be definitely scored by the batting team. So my grouping would be on the batting team. Okay. And it doesn't mention, it says total runs. So it doesn't want only the batsman runs, it wants to take in account the extra runs also, because of course extra runs also matters. It also makes difference between winning and losing of the match. So total runs, and then I'm executing aggregate function sum. So please run this code, just ignore rest of it. Okay, here I have sorted it ascending first to get the first 5. So this is for the next question. So I'm just commenting it out. Just execute this question and ignore the rest of it. I'll talk about rest of it later. And let me know. So let me execute it also. So grouping by batting team and totaling on the total runs. Once you are done, let me know in the chat, please. Good. All right. There is a little discussion I want to do on this format. Okay. Before we move ahead. Now you see here I'm grouping only on one column, on team. Okay. I'm grouping only on one. And then summarizing on one column. Now output here I'm getting is in the form of series. Okay. And not the data frame. Now, in case you are not doing any further analysis on your output, see, I have saved my output in a new data frame called as runs. Okay. And then I'm printing the runs out here. After grouping and summarizing, I'm putting it in the, I'm assigning to a new variable runs. I will not say it is a data frame. Now, when I execute it, it will tell me that it is a series and not a data frame. Okay. So it doesn't matter whether the output is series or a data frame, because in case you're not doing any further analysis. Okay, it doesn't matter because the output will remain the same. But in case for further analysis, you need it as a data frame, you will do it what we discussed a little bit before. You give the column name as list. Okay, if you give the column name as list, you will get an output as data frame. So that is what I said. It doesn't, if you're not doing any kind of further analysis, it doesn't matter whether you're getting series or data frame. But sometimes for further analysis in a, much more complex and advanced case studies, you might need it as a data frame, you might need it as series. So in that case, you decide whether you want to give single brackets or you want to give double brackets. Okay. So this is the first question. How many total runs was scored by each in each IPL matches by each team? So Chennai Super Kings scored 26,000 plus, Deccan 11,000, Delhi Capitals 2,000, Delhi Daredevils 24,000, Gujarat Lions this, Rising Super Giant 24, Super Giants 2,000, and Sunrise Hyderabad, and so on and so forth. Right? Please explain Kumar Baba syntax. Syntax, okay. I'll do that again. Kumar is asking, please explain the syntax. See, let me show you by step. I need to find out that you understand the question, Kumar? How many runs were scored by each team in the entire IPL history? So, by team, so what I need to do is, this is my data frame. Okay. I'll call my group by function. Okay. Currently, I'm using only one column, but I can use more than one column. We'll go to more complex cases later. So I'm grouping by batting team because I want for each team. I want the names of team here. So जो भी चीज जिसके बारे में भी मुझे डेटा चाहिए, I'll do it on that teams. Okay. So group by teams, and this is two things. Group. So grouping has been done. Now aggregation. Now aggregation has to be done on what? Total runs. So I want the total runs. So I understand it is not saying average runs scored by the team. If it has been average, I would have said mean here. Okay. If it have asked for what is the maximum runs scored by each team, I would have used max function here. If it has asked what is the lowest run scored by each team, I would have used min here. But it has asked for total runs, so I'm using sum here. So depending upon your question, whether it is asking for total, whether it is asking for min, it is asking for max, it is asking for an average, accordingly, you will use some kind of an aggregation function on the column for which it is asking. Okay. Now, earlier, as we have discussed, since we are doing only for a single column, my output is series. Right, Vishwadev? You wanted me to explain again? Praneeth, I'll come to your question in a moment. Let me finish this. Okay. Okay. So, I hope you got it. So, grouping on which you want your data to be segmented, aggregation on the columns on which you want your data to be analyzed, right? Okay. So now the second part of my question is, who are the top 5 scorers? Now I have put my this, since I had two questions, so I put it in a new data frame or a new variable as well, not data frame. Now, for the second part of the question, who are the top 5 scorers? I sort my new variable on sort values, ascending false, since I want the top, descending or sorting, and I go for head for first 5 ones. By default, head give me first 5 ones. Okay, so this is the output I get. Runs, sort values, ascending false, head. So for the second part of my question, who are the top 5 scorers? Mumbai Indian is the top scorer with 29,000 runs. Bangalore is the second. Punjab is third. Kolkata is fourth and Chennai is fifth. Now, Praneeth is asking, is there a way to combine? Of course, is there a way to combine both the statements, group by and sort values into the single statement? Yes, Praneeth, I can do that. This is my, I just split it because I didn't want to make more complex. Yesterday, somebody asked me, ma'am, can you please split into multiple statements so that it is easier to understand? So it is split, but if you want in a single statement, okay. So grouping, summing, sorting, heading. Same answer. The output of group will go to the sum, the output of sum will go to the sort, output of the sort will go to the head. Okay. So, all right. So Praneeth question answered. Now Asha. Asha ma'am, I wanted to know in a group by function, why one square bracket and other one has a round bracket. Okay, Asha. All right. Asha, see, group by is a function. Okay. Now currently I am doing it on a single column. Okay. So I can directly give the name of my column here. But in case I am doing it in more than one column, let me see. See here, in question number 11, I'll be analyzing based on two columns. So I'll give the list. It is in the form of list. My list always comes in the square brackets. Okay. So when we move down further, you will see. So don't confuse between square brackets and the round brackets. Round bracket is for invoking your functions. Okay. Square brackets is for accessing your indexing or accessing your elements of your data frame or your array or your series or your 2D array, whatever. Square brackets is used for indexing or for accessing. Round brackets are always used for your functions. So whenever you are invoking a function, you write round brackets. Whenever you are invoking your indexing, you are doing a square bracket. So usually what happens is whenever I'm giving a single column, I don't give a list. But if I'm giving more than one columns, I'll give it in the form of list. My column names in the form of list. So in that case, as I'll show you in the question number 11, it will come. Okay. Now here the output of your group. Okay. Output of your group is a series. So, I can, I've already executed. Okay. So if you go by step, Asha, let me show you the same thing. This is one command. Okay. So, I'll do it step by step. So first I will group my data. Then once I have grouped my data for a particular column, I'm executing my sum function. So that is it. So no dots out here. Sorry, sir. No dots. So for a particular column, for now I have this X data. On X1 data, I'm going for a particular column total runs, and then I'm summing it, and I'm storing that value in x2. Now using that x2, then I will sort my data. Okay. Once I've sorted my data, I have, then I'll say get the head. So actually this single command, a single statement here is encompassing is 4 such statement. So I hope now I'm clear where the squares and where the round brackets are being used. And by splitting the commands, so if you're comfortable in doing by splitting the commands, you do it by splitting the commands, and if you are comfortable that you can execute in one go, you can do it in this way. There is no difference in the output. Okay. Asha got it. Now Abhinav, deliveries. Okay. Abhinav is just writing the statement. Okay, Praneeth, thanks. Thanks, Asha. Yes, Rajan, yes, when you are initially starting out, this is good. I'll keep it here for you guys to reference. I won't delete it. I'll keep it in the comment form, okay? So if you're seeing a lot of code is in the comment form, it's because in my previous batches also, queries were asked and those comments were there. Okay, all right, good. So let's go ahead. Everybody understood? All right. So first you have group it, then sum it, then sorted it, then headed it. Okay, all right, good to go. All right. So similarly, this is the same question in with option 2, where here I'm dealing with series, here I change it to the data frame, that is all, by giving the one single column as my list instead of single indexing. So there is no difference out here. The output remains the same. Here you will find the answer in the form of series. Here you will find the answer in the form of the data frame. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead. So who are the top 5 scorers? Mumbai, Bangalore, Punjab, Kolkata, and Chennai. All right. Now do the question number 10 for me. Who are the top 10 batsmen who have scored the most number of runs? Let me see if you guys can do it. For referencing, I'm showing you the this, but do question number 10. Top 10 batsmen who have scored most number of runs. Please go ahead and do it and give me the answer. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Okay, I'll please. All right, I'm seeing some of you are giving answers. Abhinav, Rohit, Deepika, Kirti. Okay, I'll just wait a minute or more so for others to complete. Okay, Ajanika is all right. Ajnika, there is one problem with your question, one problem with your statement. You are doing aggregation on total runs. And I am here asking you the runs scored by the batsman. So instead of total runs, you will be considering batsman runs and you will be ignoring the extra runs. So here, grouping is on the batsman and aggregation is on the batsman runs. Sort again on the batsman run and head 10. So this will be your output. So guys, you can check. So you're getting Raina as a top scorer, whereas I'm getting Virat Kohli as a top scorer. Raina might have got some extra runs because you might have considered total runs. You will be here considering batsman run because we are talking about runs scored by batsmen. So whenever we are, you know that in cricket, whenever we are talking runs scored by Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli or Dhoni or anybody, it is the runs which they have actually scored and not, we never consider it as extra runs. You should know because you know cricket by the virtue of your knowledge of cricket. Right? Yes. Yeah, Deepika is happy. Virat Kohli is the answer. Right. Good. All right. Difference between the total runs and the batsman runs. Rohit, you want to know the difference between the total runs? Batsman runs plus extra runs. Extra runs which comprises of your wide runs, no balls, leg byes, and so on and so forth. Right? Yes, the reasons were that was the reason for the difference. No, Deepika, you did not do anything wrong. You were right. Virat Kohli is the top scorer. Okay. Be confident of your answer, Deepika. It sometimes happens that only the one person who gets it correct and all the fans got it wrong. Okay. All right. So we are good to go ahead. All right. So till now we have grouping done on one column and summing done on one column, right? What if I have to do group, okay, on two columns and summing on two columns, aggregation in two columns. So I want you to analyze the runs scored by each batsman, that is batsman runs, and the total runs for each batsman of each team. So for each batsman, for each team means I'm grouping on team and I'm grouping on batsman. And I have to analyze on two things, batsman runs and total runs. So this is how my grouping statement becomes. Okay. So you are grouping on batting team, the team name first and batsman name later, and then summing on to the two of these values. Okay. So I'm just here doing grouping, no sorting, no heading, nothing like that. So I'm just getting this data frame. So this is the difference. For Chennai Super Kings, all these batsmen have played. These are the batsman runs and these are the total runs for each particular player. Okay. So in that case, I have 935 rows. I'm just doing, showing an output, how the output is shown, because we will be doing some more analysis later on it. Can you please go ahead and do it? Now, tell me the difference if I do batsman grouping first and team later, what will happen? What if I switch these two? Shruti, Shruti is asking to share the feedback form. Shruti, the feedback form would be shared by moderator and he will come in the last 15 minutes of the class. Okay. All right. Team names will repeat. So in case a particular, so team name will, in case here the batsman name will repeat. So in case Nehra has played for Chennai Super Kings and Nehra has played for, say, Challengers Bangalore, so his name will get repeated out here. But it doesn't make sense to do it in the reverse. Why? So let me show you why it doesn't make any sense. Let's do some experiment. Okay, what will happen? Okay, so now you can see A. Ashish Reddy has played for both Deccan Chargers and for Sunrise Hyderabad. Usually one player is playing for one team, but in one team you have many players, right? So it makes sense to do it. And see, Zahir Khan has played for Delhi Daredevils, has played for Mumbai Indians, has played for Royal Challengers Bangalore. So in case you need your analysis more oriented towards your players, you want to see whether Zahir has performed better with Delhi Daredevils or he has performed better with Mumbai Indians or he has performed better with Bangalore, you will do in this form. But if you want to see team wise, you will do it. So the order would be decided by the way you want to analyze. Okay. So the question of ordering would be that way. All right. So how you're going to see this data, how you're going to analyze it further, that will define your group by order. Okay. All right. Okay. Deepika, why? Because that was asked in the question. All right. Okay. Analyze by winning margin by runs for each match winner in each season. All right, you guys can do this. Okay, this is nothing. So I have written some few more questions out here for you guys to practice since you asked for it. Okay, some 8 more questions. You can try it out later. Now I want you to concentrate on question number 4 and 5 because that was when the most queries were asked for me. So here I'm asking you, which team had maximum wins in the final matches of IPL history, right? So out of all the matches, how will you identify the final match? Think about it for a minute and tell me in the chat. You have 756 matches played in your IPL history. How will you identify the final matches? Just think and give me the answer. Okay, so Rohit is saying max ID of a season. All right. Okay. That is one thought. That is one very good thought. Anybody else? With date, right, Pooja? Yes, with date, with the winner. Kumar, for every 756, we have 49 winners. Himani is saying with date. Okay, good. So how do we identify who is the championship winner? So if I want you to list the winners of each season, how will you do that? Okay, good. All right. So all of you have given some thought. So let me put my thought into it. So get the final matches of each season for say for question number 4 and 5. What you will do is group the rows. Max, I'm not using Rohit the max ID in this case because I'm not sure whether the ID was given in the sequence or not. So my data nowhere tells me that the IDs were given the sequence, so I will not take that risk. In case I'm sure about my data that it is given in the sequence, I can go ahead for id.max value also. Okay. And yes, Pooja with date and Himani date is a very good option. You can go for the max date. Yes. Rishabh is saying use tail, right? Rishabh, that is what I'm coming into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group my rows according to the season using group by. So I have my matches data frame and I have used a group by. And I used tail one. Tail one will refer to the last match of the season. Okay. I'm sorting the value on the season and to ascending. Okay. So I'm getting, these are my final matches. Okay. Once I have final matches as my new data frame, I can do whatever analysis. I want maximum wins. I want maximum win by wickets. I want winner of the championship of IPL trophy. I want who won the IPL trophy maximum number of times, and so forth. Which team has played most number of finals? Even this question number 7 can be answered with this. So I have specifically done this because many of you found it in previous batches difficult to find the final match. So you are extracting from all the data of your matches, you are extracting the data for your segregating your data for the final matches, and then it is a new data set for you and you can do all sort of analysis you want. Okay, so you can guys go ahead and try it out. All right. All right. There is one more thing I want to discuss with you before moving on further is the merging of the data set. Now, when we talk about merging of the data set, you guys aware of the databases? Joining in databases? Data of joining of tables in databases? Anybody? No. No. Yes. Sudeep is yes. Few are yes, few are no. All right. Fine. I'll take 50-50. Now, as I've told you before, okay, I have two data with me. One is deliveries and one is matches. Okay. And they share a column ID. Okay. This is what is known to me. In deliveries, it is referred to as match ID. In matches, it is referred to as ID. Okay. So this is a common column. So I'm just switching my gears out here and going to my whiteboard to explain a concept of merging of the databases or merging of the data set, or as we call it in database, joining of two tables. Okay, I'll explain that concept and then we can come back to this. Okay, so let me new share and whiteboard. Okay. All right. So we'll do it on a very small tabular level so you guys can see my whiteboard. All right. Okay. So here I'm creating two tables, say. Okay, this is my table 1. I have a roll number. I have a name, and say I have an address. Okay. So it has a roll number, name, and address. I have some data out here. So roll number 1, name A, he belongs to, say, Delhi. Roll number 2, name B, belongs to Pune. Roll number 3, name C, belongs to Chennai. I have, say, 4 and 5. D and E belongs to Mumbai and belongs to Bangalore. All right. So this is my table 1. And I have table 2, where I have a course ID and I have the roll number. Identifying, say roll number 1 has taken course 2 and 3. Roll number 2 has taken course 4 and 2. Say roll number 5 has taken course 6 and 9. And okay, let me add few data rows here. Roll number 9 and 10 has taken course 2 and 4. All right, I have some data like this. Now, I know that roll number is a common attribute of both the tables. Okay, so roll number is a common attribute of both the tables. Now, when I want to merge these tables, I will merge them on roll numbers. Okay, when I want to merge these tables, that means I want to make table 2 and table 1 as one. For my analysis, I will merge them on roll numbers. Now there are 4 ways of merging them. Inner join, that we call it as inner join. Left outer join. Right outer join. Please pardon my handwriting. With digital pen, it is little difficult to write. And full outer join. So there are 4 ways I can merge these two tables. Now let's see what is inner join. Okay, I'll come to each one by one, and I need these tables. So when I take inner join, okay, inner join means I'm considering my both the tables, okay, but I am only considering only those rows which have values in my both the tables, okay, which have values in both the tables. Okay, so the output of my join would be roll number, name, address, course ID. So 1, I have roll number 1 data here. So 1A daily, course 2, 1A daily, course 3. Okay, just let me rub this one off. Just remember we had 2 and 9 and something 10 and 4. Okay, all right. And okay, so next I have 2, roll number 2, 2 has data there, 2B Pune, and course 3, and there is no more 2. There's one more 2B Pune, course 2, and so forth. Now roll number 4 has no data in my table 2. So my roll number 4 will not be, 3 and 4 will not be featured here in my merged data set. Okay. In my merged data set, I will not have roll number 3. I will not have roll number 4 because in my table 2, I do not have any data for them. Then I have data for 5. So I will move on to the 5E, Bangalore, and course ID 6. Got what does inner join means? Inner join means, and then I'm not considering roll numbers 9 and 10 out here because 9 and 10 roll number does not have any data in table 1. So let me know if you got what inner join is. Inner join is merging of two tables and considering only that data which has values for roll number in both the tables. Okay. Just let me know if you got your inner join, then I can go ahead with the next joins. Yes, Deepika, we will merge it only in case of inner join. In case of inner join, we will do it only for the cases where we have data in both. Got it? All right. So let me allow to rub this answer and go ahead for the left join. Now, in case of left, outer join. Okay. So here what we do is we write table 1 or a data set 1 in case of Python or in case of data 2. Then we write merge command and we write table 2. Okay. So this is my left one and this is my right. Okay. So what I have written before my merge is my left data. It is my left data. Just a second. Okay. This is my left data and this is my right data. Now let me draw the output for it. Okay, I am drawing with mouse. My pen has stopped working, so the writing would be more bad. Now, in case of left, let me draw the table first. I will have same thing, roll number, name, address, and the course ID. Okay. But when I'm saying left outer join, I will have all my data from my left column. So I will have 1, I have 2, I have 3, I will have 4, and I will have 5. Okay. Now for 1, it is multiple. So the 1 will appear multiple times. And 2 is also multiple. So 2 will also appear multiple times. So 5 is there multiple times. 5 will appear multiple times. Okay. Since 9 and 10 has no data in table 1, so 9 and 10 will not appear. Okay. Now, you know what answers would, what values will come in front of 1, 2, 3, and 1 to 5 here. But in case of 3 and 4, here the value will be null. Okay. So here the value would be null, right? So in case of left outer join, all my data from my left table will come in my merge table. Yes, Vishwadeep, you can say that only, I won't say word common data, I will say the data that exists for that particular roll number, which is the primary key, or which in terms of database we say as primary key. The data exists for that particular primary key in both the tables, only the common part. So if you see the Venn diagram, only the common part. Okay. So the Venn diagram for this would be like this. Your table 1, table 2, okay, and you have all the data from table 1 plus only that data from table 2 for which you have values in table 1. Okay. Rajan is asking, in this case, data should be in the same format, right? The format would be the same. There won't be any difference. Format, what do you mean to say? Yes, roll number is same. Roll number, if it is integer or whatever the primary data you are matching, if it is integer, it has to be integers. Rest of the columns are different. So whatever they were in the parent column, it will be the same in the merged column. Okay. So in the left outer, it is this case. Now in case of your right outer, what happens is you have all the data from the right table and only those data that is required. So you will have 9 and 10 here. You will have 9 and 10 here in case of right outer join, but no 3 and 4. Okay. You will have 9 and 10, but in this case, the name address would be null. And the Venn diagram would be like this. This is for your right. And this is for your left. So this is the case. In this case, all your data from the right will be there, and only that table, only that data which has values in the T2 from table 1. And in case of full, you have all that data. In case of full, you have entire data set. Okay, so you will have 3, you will have 4, you will have 9 and 10 both, but the respective values in the other column will be null. So I hope you have got what does the merging of the data set means. Vishwadeep, unavailable ID. Yes. So when you are doing left, the data from all the left would be there. But in right, if you have in the left outer join, so all the data in T1 would be considered. But in T2, if you have certain IDs which do not have in table 1, those will not be considered, and vice versa. Ma'am, what if there is no common values in both the files? Yes, if there is no common values in both the files, you will have an empty merge data set in case of the inner join. If there are, say, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and here you have roll number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the output would be an empty table, right? Yes, the shape will change. The shape will of the new merged data set will be dependent upon the number of rows and columns. Duplicate, yes, duplicate will be considered. There is no way to exclude duplicates. So you need to clean your data before you do the merging. You need to clean your data of duplicates in before of merging. Pranay is asking, what is if there are duplicate values? Duplicate values will appear in the merged data set if there are in the parent data set. All right. All right. Then we need to create common rows. Rajan is saying. Okay. Rajan, I did not get your question. Yes, Pranay. It is same as SQL. That is why I asked. Those guys who are aware of the SQL joins, the concept is same. Of course, the syntax changes as per the programming language, right? Even in the, you have different SQL join syntax for, IBM DB2 database or Oracle database or MS SQL Server database, right? Fourth is the full one. Yes, it is union. You can say it is union of both the tables. Rohit, you can say both. It is the union of both the tables. So can I go ahead and for the merging? Let's go back to the merging now. Okay. Hope the concept is clear. All right. All right. Let's go ahead. Okay. So let's do merging today and a couple of questions on it. We'll do pivoting of the table in the next class. Okay, we'll do merging of the data and the question based on the merged data set, and we'll do pivoting in the next class. So only one part is left out of it, that is pivot table. We'll do it in the next class. It'll take just 5-4 minutes. Okay. So concept of merging is clear. So here, my table one is deliveries, which is my left data set and has my primary key as, or the main attribute on which I'm going to merge my data set named as match ID. And my table two here is matches, which is going to be my right data set. And I'm going to merge it on that attribute ID. So this is just for your clarification. I have written here, guys. Now let's look at the syntax. So deliveries is my left data set. So I'm taking deliveries first. Okay. Then I'm calling on the merge functions. Okay. Then I'm calling on the merge function. Then I'm writing the name of my right data set. All right. I'm writing the name of my right data set. Then left on refers to the attribute name of my left database or left data set on which I am merging. That means the common values to be considered whenever there was roll number, here it is my match ID. Okay. So left on column and right on. So for it might be same in some cases, it might be different in some cases. So you need to ensure that they are same. Okay. Match ID for left on and right on. And how? Here I'm saying I want inner join, I want full join, I want right outer, I want left outer. So I'm going for inner joins because I don't want any kind of null values. That will not be a very clean data. Okay. So I'm not going for left outer or right outer or full join, because in that case I would have a lot of null values in my data and I don't want them. So I want a clean data, so I'm going for inner. All right. So this is the code I'm going to execute. IPL deliveries. Now I am not doing merged here. I'm not printing my data set because I know There are going to be loads of entries there. So I'm just going for merge info. So you can check there are 1,79,000 entries. And now the number of columns have become 39. 18 from my matches, 18 from my deliveries, right? How many I had in my deliveries? 21 columns in deliveries. And I have the columns were there, 21. And here I had what was the number of columns in this matches? Yeah, 18. So 18 plus 21, I'm getting, that is why I'm getting 39 columns out here in your merged data set. So 21 columns from deliveries and 18 columns from your So I have 39 columns. Now each of those columns are listed. So first I have all the columns of my deliveries being a left one. And then I have all the columns from my matches being the right one. So I have 39 columns out here. Okay. I have 39 columns out here and I have total around 1,79,000 rows out here. Okay. So now let's look at the questions that we will be working on the merge data set. Yes, left first. Rohit is asking left first, then right. Yes. Yes, Vishwadeep, they, if you keep, you want to say if you keep matches first. Vishwadeep, if you keep matches first and deliveries later on, there will be no difference in case of an inner join. Okay. In case of inner join, there will be no difference. But yes, there will be difference in case of a left outer and right outer. In that case, you will get switched data. All right, for inner and for full, there will not be any change, Vishwadeep. For inner joins and for outer join, full outer join, there will be no change. But there will be change in the output in case of a left outer and in case of a right outer. Okay. All right. Okay. So all right. So let's look at certain questions. All right. I have run ahead on the merged data set. So you can see how the all 39 columns will look like. So it's a huge, big now data. So all you are familiar now since we have run about 10 plus questions. So you are familiar with the data now. You are more better understanding of the data now. All right. Now the first question we are going to run is, what are the runs scored by MS Dhoni in IPL season? In each IPL season. Okay. Now I'm going to get the batsman name. My batsman name was where? Here. Okay. Batsman name here, Dhoni. Run scored by Dhoni, Batman's run. All right. And see, the reason I need to merge that data was because there was no season in deliveries. Okay. Now I'm going to match. See, for this question, okay. For this question, batsman name Dhoni is coming from deliveries. Okay. How many runs Dhoni has scored? How many runs Dhoni has scored is coming from deliveries. I have match ID for particular match ID I have in deliveries. and I have the same ID in matches. Now this will help me match कि ये कौन से season or in which year it was run. All right. So I need to analyze my data on season, on the batsman name, and on the batsman name. So these three attributes were on my different data set. That is why I had a need to merge my database. So let's go back to our code. Okay. Kumar Baba is saying since the number of entries is enough, there should be 756. No, Kumar, entries cannot be 756, right? Say for in your matches, there is one entry for one match. And in your deliveries, you have, for that particular match, you have all the balls. You have all the balls played. So your number of entries would be for all the balls. So it will be more than that. Your matches would be repeated. Okay, the data for your matches would be repeated, right? Okay. Praneet requested to share the notebook. Yes, Praneet, I did it on your LS1 after just at 1:49 p.m. Yesterday at 10:12 p.m. I have shared the notebooks, and my coordinator has told me that she has immediately shared the notebook with your upgrad team. Now when your upgrad team shares the notebook with you, I have no, I cannot say. I cannot communicate with your upgrad team. I only communicate through my coordinator, and she had shared with them. And when your upgrad team shares with you, I cannot say. All right. So I'll share immediately after this class, within 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. I'll do my part. Okay. So let's go back to our code. All right. So I'm just taking for MS Dhoni here. All right. If you don't like MS Dhoni, you can go for Virat Kohli or any other. Okay, you have got for LS1 and LS2. Good. It is just a second. Vishwadeep is saying it is on the shared channel. 2 sheets have been shared. Parvez Rajan. Okay. Just at the end of this class, at the end of this session, just open it and let me know you have got it in the right format, because last time I know when I shared the code, somehow they washed up the code also, just like they did for the data set for you guys. Okay, just go through it once. Just let me complete it and let me know towards the end whether you got it in the right format. If it is not, then I'll discuss. Okay. All right. So you can, I have asked for MS Dhoni. You can go for Virat Kohli, Ashish Nehra, whatever your favorite batsman is. So this is the name of my data set. So I'm doing only for MS Dhoni or Virat Kohli, whatever. And then I want how much he has scored in each season. So grouping would be on the season, and how much he has scored. So totaling would be on the batsman. So this is no more a difficult statement for you guys. So I'm just doing it for Dhoni. So you can see in 2008, he scored 414 runs, 300 something. And so somewhere around 436 on 2019. Just go through this code and let me know in case you have any questions about it. Go through this for Dhoni. If you want to do for Virat Kohli, you can do for Virat Kohli. I am totaling the scores done by Dhoni in each year. I'm getting year from my matches, runs by from deliveries, and name Dhoni from my deliveries. Okay. How to select more? One condition and second condition, but not and, but or. Okay. You can do it for or also. Or there are multiple ways to do it. Use or here, but then you need to make sure you write the name of the player also, so that you know which one is for Dhoni and which record is for Virat Kohli. You can do that. Here one. So if I do it for Virat Kohli, you can do it. You can put an or condition out here. Okay. All right. Any other question? Or you can do one more thing, Rohit. Instead of here, you can group by season and you can group by batsman. Let me not watch the statement. Let me take the statement. So what I'll do is I'll do group by here. Batsman. Okay. And simply this. Yes, sure. Since I did two, so it has to be a list. So now you have 2008. Who scored how much? Okay. Or you can do like this. So now you have Zahir Khan 2011 itna, 2012 itna, 2014 itna, and Ashish Reddy in this. So somewhere in between these dots, you would have your Dhoni also. If you want to see that data, what you can do is you can store it in your new DF, and from new DF you can in a new variable, and from you can specifically want for particular batsman, you can check out for that one. Bache, okay, Rohit, I've written the statement. In that case, you have to remove MS Dhoni or something like that. Remove it. Or would be, okay, you want or statement, or would be like this. So this will be one condition. And then or. So the name of your second, and then somewhere here. So if you do it in the steps, it would be better. And then in somewhere you will specify that you want the name of the batsman here as well. Okay. So this will be some kind of statement like this. All right. So can I move ahead now? I think one more question I can do. Okay. All right. All right. What are the runs scored by each team in IPL season? I think this is a simple one you can do. So same thing. I did it here for your batsman and season. Here for each team. So in 2008, how much Chennai has scored? And you're doing it on the total runs, because when we are considering for the whole team, we are doing for total runs, and we are considering for the batsman, we are considering only the batman runs. Okay. So anything in question number 14 you want to discuss? It is simple, same kind of thing, but a different parameters. Okay. Any queries till now? 15 and 16 are almost similar. Okay, in 15 I have done something different. Okay, now since we know how to group it on number of different columns, right? And what if अभी तक हमने क्या किया था? अगर if we are doing sum, we are doing sum on both the columns. If we are doing mean, we are doing mean on both the columns, right? What if on one column I want to do sum and one column I want to do mean, right? I want to use a different aggregation function. In that case, I want sum as well as mean. Okay. In that case, I will use something called as .agg and specify which function I'm going to use. Okay. So this is group by. Here I'm grouping on three attributes: season, batting team, batsman. And then on batsman run, I'm finding what is the average score for that batsman for that when playing for a particular team, when playing for a particular season. Okay. What is the average of a particular batsman playing when he's playing for a particular team and then he's playing for a particular season. So it is the interpretation that is more important rather than your coding. Okay. Try it out, question number 15 and 16. And in case you have any doubts, you can ask me tomorrow, or sorry, in the next session. And we will be doing pivoting and cleaning of the data in the next session. All right. And some part of the visualization, whatever we can take out charting, that is since it's an optional part. I'll try to pick up some few charts for you guys so that you have a basic idea when you're working with it. Any queries, please let me know. Any queries from your merging, grouping, summing, or anything we have done till now? Any questions you can ask me? And please check and no, Praneet, I think I have answered it before also. You do not get any questions from visualization as per se of charts. Okay, you will not be drawing any graphs and charts in your T. T will be basically from your filtering, sorting, grouping, and summarizing. It will be revolving around these things only. You can have enough questions from them, you can see. Now, next time when you are watching your match, whenever he gives out some data, try to write the code for that particular data. So how you are going to get that answer from this data set, right? You can do that. That will be a fun activity while watching your cricket matches. So any more questions? Can you guys please check whatever the files they have sent you on your shared drive? If they're good enough, or you want something more, or it is right format, just let me know. And then I'll close the session if you do not have any more questions. Okay. Project questions, yes, you can ask. Find the average price of an app considering only paid apps. To calculate this average, okay. Create a new list. Okay, yes, this is a question there. Okay, do we need to find average for each genre? Okay, Parvez, let me go to my doc first and let me check. No, Parvez, they are not asking you to find as per genre. It is finding the total average price of all the apps. Just like we just calculated the, average winning runs and average win by wickets, 13 point something and 3 point something, considering all the data. In the same way, you have to consider all the data. Okay. Got it, Parvez? Let me know. Just one result, right? Just one result. Okay. Any more questions from the project or from today's or previous ones? Okay, Somajit is asking, in the project question number 3.3, they ask us to calculate the popularity only for certain records based on certain criteria. And in 5.1, they asked to calculate mean for the popularity. So question 5.1 should contain all the values or only the one from 3.3. Okay. So Mijit, let me see the question in detail, 5.1 and 3.3. So Mijit, let me look at the questions because five. I don't have question number 5 here in my set. Three point three tasks. Somajit, I'll okay, just a second. Somajit, I'll answer this question next time because the one I have, it doesn't show any question number 5.1. Okay, so let me check with them and I'll get back to you in the last class, and let me copy this question because the one they have sent it to me, that doesn't show question number 5.1. Okay, so I cannot answer you right now. I've noted down your question. I'll get back to you in the next class. Okay, I'll get back to you in the next class. Okay. All right. Any more further questions? Some Can someone confirm me that you have got the right codes for LS1 and LS2? All right. Sure. Okay. So let me conclude the session today. Any further questions? All right. Okay. Have a great week, everyone. Please go through your projects and ask the questions because next would be the last session.